This day we are going to investigate Quincy Jones, a well-known figure in the XRP development field. Quincy Jones is going to be the subject of our investigation. The information that this individual is about to reveal to each and every one of you in the video that we are going to see today is going to blow your mind, just like it did mine when I first heard this explanation. The way that I view digital assets in general was fundamentally altered as a result of this. Therefore, I am really thrilled to share this with each and every one of you because there is a good chance that you have not seen this before. And if you did, it's highly probable that you forgot how significant it was. I am going to be really tearing it apart and explaining what he is talking about in a way that is readily digestible for absolutely everyone. So listen up if you want to have your mind blown, and press that like button if you want to be blown away by what he has said. Assuming that everyone else is aware of it, let's proceed with the video. And so we are going to begin with the time when he was actually speaking about the future of digital assets at the Apex XRP Developer Summit, because, well, there are a lot of really fascinating things to say right here. Spoke about different kinds of organizations, you know. In addition, I believe that one thing that would be extremely intriguing and a good illustration of what we could accomplish with these would be to have passports that are recognized all around the world. Right now, picture this. Imagine that country A merely acknowledged the non-fungible tokens, NFTs, that were produced in country B. Well, the idea of having these counterfeit IDs and people moving across borders can be significantly streamlined, not to mention a little bit more frictionless, rather than having a whole bunch of people sort of evaluating a bunch of paper documents under the guise that, you know, I hope you didn't just counterfeit this and print this in your back office. People will also be able to participate in a global setting in a more straightforward manner, because it can be something as simple as scanning a QR code on your phone to authenticate you as an individual from a particular country, or even as an individual from a particular state. Regardless of whether it is an identification card, a passport, or even something as simple as a security plan, this will in fact make it easier for people to participate in global settings. The mechanisms in question are merely extremely basic native systems that have the potential to enable individuals to interact with one another. When it comes to a significant number of these network technologies, this is where it all boils down to. They are in fact a variety of approaches and instruments of involvement that are innately incorporated into the functioning of these networks. Furthermore, by doing so, and by the fact that they are native to these networks, it not only makes it simpler to interact with, but it also makes it simpler to develop on. As someone who has worked in the field of cloud development for a considerable amount of time, I can assure you that some of the things that appear to be straightforward are, in fact, rather complicated indeed. When it comes to management, things get much more challenging in terms of attempting to manage how you are going to grow out your network and your databases. This is one of the things that becomes significantly more difficult. Or the servers that you have, whatever they may be. Furthermore, when it comes to these decentralized networks, it is almost as if the entire operations of those networks become, well, decentralized. Everyone out there who has the node has contributed to the support of your network in such a manner, or has contributed to the support of your application in such a manner, to the point where you do not need to worry about a simple failure here or a simple failure there. Or even just a pretty internet connection with your service provider, which is really bringing on your application, and it really demonstrates to you that you are able to grow these apps nearly indefinitely. This is because, as I mentioned earlier, if you were doing this, and regardless of whether it is the cloud, you could need to allocate more resources to your app each time someone has to come onto it. What these decentralized networks are able to do is essentially have those resources ready to go whenever they are needed through availability. At this point, what is yet another one of these potential digital assets that we might see in the future? NFT smart contract marketplaces. Smart contracts or smart equities are all related to this topic, as I have mentioned before. With that being said, I believe that this is going to effectively take over the equity market because, as I mentioned earlier, we see these marketplaces in terms of these cute kitten photo marketplaces. Now, I think that this is going to take over the equity market. What would happen if we added a non-fungible token NFT equity market that would enable anyone to invest in the future automation of the new decentralized internet? Just as you can go buy a crypto kitty, you can also buy a stake in an automation platform. This could be something as simple as a smart contract that performs a back-end process, or it could be something more extensive. In essence, you could make it possible for anyone to invest in the future automation of the emerging decentralized internet. And it's one of those things where I really need to pound this in, because it's one of those things that I have to push home. I'm telling you that it will completely alter the course of the game. Everything is going to be different. Now let's go on to the final one I have here. NFT product ownership is discussed. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the discussion, that you can truly illustrate that you can show NFTs as a way of showing ownership over various objects. But it's not just item A or object B. Over the course of time, it can become everything. Everything that you might be able to carry in your possession. A near-field communication NFC tag will be attached to it in order to demonstrate the ownership rights that may be linked with that item. it can sound ridiculous, like, hey, yeah, Quincy, I get it, but it's true. I purchased a toothpick from the internet and I have a non-fungible token NFT for it, which demonstrates that I am the owner of the toothpick. No, it's not even close to being that ridiculous. All of it is included. I have the non-fungible token NFT for it. And the fact that I have the NFT for it demonstrates that I went through the process of purchasing this asset, regardless of whether it is an item, a toothpick, a smart contract, or something else entirely. If you have purchased something that is going to be purchased from my store and you are anticipating receiving it, then you can demonstrate that you have purchased it by saying, hey, I have the NFT for it. Every single thing, whether it be a toothpick, a DAP, your clothes, your house, or anything else, will be in the same condition if you can demonstrate that you are the owner of it. However, there is one thing that I would like to emphasize to you all. Hey, you are all experts in something, and I want to emphasize that. Every single person is an expert in a particular field. You are not unaware of anything at all. Everyone has some level of knowledge. But will there be a method for me to make use of the information that I already possess in a manner that is more natively, more efficiently, more effectively, faster, and cheaper? Certainly there is. To put it another way, it is one of those things where, as I mentioned before, you do not need to have a huge brain engineered something in order to be able to figure out how to figure out these things. One of the most important things is to gain an understanding of how I may make the most of these digital tools in order to maximize the potential of my businesses. What are some ways that I can make use of these digital networks? And not just one of them, but truly any of them. What are some ways that I can make use of these digital networks to significantly increase the amount of, in that case, I suppose you could remark that you are sorry for the quality? Considering that the current moment is one of the most favorable periods to purchase cryptocurrencies, the video is a little bit older than usual.